little bit of a stale point business personally, and I knew that I wanted to grow the business. I wanted to take it forward. I wanted to build on my father's legacy, but I didn't really know how to go about doing that. We've got a very strong brand in the heritage classic car side of what we do, and also Tradeshaw, which is motor trade. But we'd recently created a Norton Insurance brand, which was supporting our customers in the mid to high net worth sector that wanted a really high level of service through a personal client manager, and we were looking to cross-sell other products to these customers. And I was a little unsure about how to go forward from this. I also recognised that we'd got really strong people within the business that were very dedicated and committed. We've got a lot of experience, but we'd also got a lot of inexperienced people in that there were young managers that were very energetic, but we came from different backgrounds. We weren't used to working as an effective group, and I recognised that we needed a bit of bringing together. So I turned to Chris, who I'd been chatting to for a few years, and asked if he could help on that journey. It started off with us focusing on leadership and management and putting together a 6-part modular training program, which was designed to elevate the leadership and management within the business, looking at better behaviour and better understandings of management techniques. This was also actually done online as part of the pandemic, which was quite a challenge in itself, but it was a great course to go through. We came out of that looking to actively work on those sort of techniques and tips that we'd got, but we then realised that actually there was more to do than this, particularly around the leadership team. We'd got a very devoted, committed team, but again we felt that we didn't have a lot of experience from a higher end leadership perspective. Chris then helped support us with that. We did using talent dynamics, gave us a really great insight to what each of our individual profiles and best working practices were. Chris also did a lot of coaching and developing with individuals on a one-to-one basis, putting together personal action plans, looking at individual values, which really helped push and develop people within the business and look to take those leadership steps forward, which really did impact at that point. But it then sort of opened another door where we started realising that actually there's more to this, and we realised we needed to look at culture. Culture's a very difficult thing to pin down. We started by running a survey using the Barrett model, or the Barrett survey, which was a questionnaire that we ran throughout the business, which allowed everyone to comment on where they felt the culture was at that point. We then ran focused feedback sessions, which again Chris supported us with, which allowed us to get really detailed feedback from everyone within the business, and actually then put together a working plan on what we wanted to achieve going forward. This then led on to looking at culture in a wider perspective, and it also got us looking at the values, the vision and the purpose of the business, which then came back to me a lot more in terms of challenging my direction. So working with Chris and another advisor helped me put together really clear mission statements, visions, which I sought feedback and support from the rest of the business and leaders within the business, and helped create a really clear long-term 5-year goal. And underpinning all of that were a new set of values that we have, which are care, togetherness, flourish and adventure. These values really now are creating the ability for us to move forward in all areas, using those values as a sort of key support for that. So we then started looking at actually our whole engagement process, and we came up with the idea of an emotional intelligence course. We felt that we were very rigid in the way that we interacted with customers, suppliers, and realised that actually we could do this in a much more open, genuine, authentic way. And we've worked with Chris very closely over the last year to put together Again, a 6-part emotional intelligence course, which we've taken through the majority of our customer service advisors. And this is now enabling us to have totally different conversations with our customers, where we understand genuinely what their needs are, what their personal motivations are, and how we can support them in other ways, just rather than just it being a product sales-led process. So working with Chris has made a massive difference to us as a business. He's given us a real vision and purpose, which is now taking us forward, well, for at least 5 years. We have real cultural identity. We've been able to get really into the nuts and bolts of that, and we have a very clear roadmap going forward in terms of how we want to take forward our culture and develop that. It's given us some real clarity and focus around learning, training and development. Everyone in the business now has a very clear development plan, which they work on very closely with their manager and other advisors within the business. In terms of what's it like to work with Chris, well, he's a really caring person. He genuinely is invested in us as a business and also the individuals in that. I personally have had a lot of guidance and support from him over the past few years, dealing with some quite difficult personal and professional issues. He also has a very different approach, which I would describe as being more organic and holistic. It's very much looking at the whole picture and how all the components fit together. And this is where we started off looking at one issue around, or one thing that I felt was an issue around learning and development for leaders and managers, and it's then just continued into the other areas around culture, values, and emotional intelligence, engagement with customers. But he has a great way that he connects with people. There is no one he can't connect with. It's very much a counsellor and coach, supportive type of role, which is really caring and nurturing and really reassuring. So it's a real comfort to have Chris take that role for certain people when it's necessary. And I'd say he's really thorough in his planning and research and delivery. There's clearly a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to arrive at content that is really suitable and valuable for us as a business. And then I suppose the last thing to say is about me personally. I really feel as though I've grown and developed as an individual. I've realised that there's much better ways to work with people, to engage with people. I've been far more reflective within myself. I think I'm calmer now, I'm more collected, I'm much more supportive and energised, both personally but also with everyone around me. I feel in a much stronger place personally and also professionally going forward. So all in all, Chris has been brilliant to work with, and I can highly recommend him to anyone out there.